Hey, Scrappy friends, this is Mags from MagsGraphics, and I have another new product to share with you. At the Forever store, I've just released a set of everyday glass bottles and jars. The bundle comes with a set of bottles, cork, screw, and cap, and then a set of jars with two different lids, and a set of labels and mask effects. And I thought I would show you how all of these could be used. So the first thing is we're going to go to a new blank canvas and just pull in a couple of these. These are going to come in large because I'm not sure what you might want to do with them. You may want this to be the focal point of your layout. You may want it as part of a border. You may be filling it. I mean, this one could fill with an entire ship, like one of those ships in a bottles. So everything is large and will take up a lot of space on your paper, but they can be easily resized down without any problem. Had I started them at a smaller size, you would have trouble resizing them bigger. So here are just a couple of the different shapes of the glass bottles. Something that looks maybe similar to a test tube, a beaker. Here's our test tube. All of these with the wider tops are going to fit the cork. The cork fits in all of them. You just move it down below. And so it functions as a stopper for all of these items. Now, we also have some other parts like this water bottle that comes with its own screw cap that can be added on. And then we have this type of water bottle, decanter, wine bottle, and has this screw top, all of which can then be reduced in size. Also in this pack, and let me just move these over for now, we have the jars. So your biggest jar, you have this one, and you have another variation of this tall one that, as you can see, has a circular at the bottom, as if you were putting in something a lot more translucent and you wanted to see that there was that it was clear all the way through. Just two different options for whichever one you like the best. Then we have some different sizes. That's the one I just put on. Some different sizes of these jars, maybe for candy, confetti, books, photos. There's a lot of things that we can put into these. Then we have some other variations like this rounded jar, like a fishbowl, or this one that looks like the old-fashioned candy jar. This one reminds me of like the old Taster's Choice coffee jug. And we even have this heart one. And for all of these jars, there are two different lids, one with the rounded handle and one without, and it fits on all of these jars. Also, we've got some labels. So if you just pull these over, they are sized originally to fit even the largest jar. So I'm going to go back to this one and show you how this fits perfectly right onto there. There's a bunch of different options that you can put on. My recommendation is that you would choose your label, your jar, the lid, assemble them the way that you want, and then group them or resize them together so that everything stays in relationship to the right aspect ratio. Then you can fill them with whatever you want, or fill them and then make them smaller later. So lots of options that you have there. But while I have you here, I'm going to pull up a photo. This is my 50th birthday. We went flying at iFly, an indoor skydiving place. And when I was making these labels, I noticed that they have some really fun edges that could be entertaining as mask effects. So I did add them in here, which means you can take a photo or paper and you can use these decorative edges in your photos. So it's just a bonus. They can help you make labels for your jars and bottles, or you can use these for your photos. Just another little fun thing that can be done with this new pack. Now we're going to go back over and I'm going to show you some things that could be done with this set. One thing in this heart one, I was scrolling down and looking at the different hodgepodge that was in my date night kit, and I liked this one that said love. Thought this would be kind of a neat thing that could be put into this jar. But as you can tell, it's kind of leaching out the sides. That's not going to be a problem. I'm going to lock this jar for now so it stays where it's supposed to while I size this or move it where I want. First, I'm going to stick this in where I want and go to the cut ribbon, custom, cut out a straight path. And then I'm just going to follow the edge of this bottle down. I'm just going to do this side first. Keep the unshaded area cut. Then I'm going to go back to the custom cutter again. I'm going to cut out what's on this other side here. And keep the unshaded area. And I'm going to do it one more time, just up here. Although I guess it really would have been part of that bottle, so never mind, we will stop that together. Now I can resize these, I can group them, and then resize them, and I could add them to my layout that way. Another thing I did is on this page, I used the candy jar and filled it with candy corn from one of my Halloween kits. And once you have it grouped and the lid is on, then you can resize it down to however you need it for your layouts. This is a layout that I worked on today. It was a slow process, but I'm really excited with how it turned out. In 2023, I read 61 books this year. So I went to Goodreads where I track all my books, and I saved each cover of all of the books that I read, and I put them into the tallest jar, adding shadows, and then writing down what my favorite standalone books were, the different series that I read, and I'll be able to put this into my album for 2023 that shows all of the different books that I did. And I'm really, really happy with how this one turned out. I feel like now I want to go back in previous years to my reading challenges and add those into my past books. Let me show you some layouts by my creative team. This one is by Audrey, and she used the jar up here by the word button. She was able to resize it down much smaller than when it originally came in, and it kept its clarity, and you can see that she's got her button inside the jar. This one by my friend Kim W. used the candy jars to use pictures of butterflies. Thought that was pretty spectacular. Michelle B. used some of her beach pictures for this one. And you can see she's got an assortment of glass bottles down here. One around a picture of her and her husband, another one with some seashells and a starfish, and then we've got a sandcastle here in the water bottle. Really clever way to use these. Also by Michelle, this was Amazeballs. She's got her granddaughter dropping in some painted shells that she found into the jar, and she already has this jar filled with the other painted shells. I mean, such a clever way to use these glass jars. This is by my friend Kim G. She's got some cookies in here while they're making cookies, and then one cookie out that has already been eaten. And I have another ocean themed one by Teresa. I like how she's got your ship in the bottle, a little bit of ocean water, some sand in one, someone walking on the beach in the other. There's just a lot of possibilities that you can do with these glass bottles, jars, and the labels, as well as the frame effects that you can add to your photos. So I hope you'll stop by the Forever store and pick up these everyday glass bottles, jars, and labels. Thanks for watching.